help others have success? If so, the Miller Media Group would like to talk to you. Have you ever posted something on social media that had all your friends and family laughing? Have you ever fought off a bear? If so, let's talk. Not necessarily about bears. We just think it would be a cool story. Here at the Miller Media Group, we have a ton of fun helping businesses grow, and we could use some more help. So if you or someone you know has marketing and advertising experience or any of the previously mentioned skills, please send your resume to sales@randyradio.com. That's sales@randyradio.com. The Miller Media Group is an equal opportunity employer and scared of bears.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dr. Jim LaValle, author of Cracking the Metabolic Code, my guest on the phone today. Dr. Jim, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing good in this new year. Got my exercise in this morning, getting ready to rock the day out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what's your routine like lately? Anything new in your fitness routines that you've taken on in the new year?
You know, right now I'm doing whole body training. So I'm doing like 3 times a week, a complete cycle of every body part in the course of a workout. Just doing less, but less sets obviously, but doing that 3 times a week. Getting that aerobics in 45 minutes, 5 days a week. And I'm at my probably all-time leanest at age going on 63.
Holy smokes.
So,
You're a testament.
It's all about that longevity piece, man.
I was going to say, you're a testament to what can be done when you dedicate yourself to physical fitness and all those good things. And you mentioned, Dr. Jim, longevity. This, from what you were telling me, is the hottest topic in the world of health and wellness. What is the talking points? What's so hot about this topic?
Well, I mean, whether you're looking at Tony Robbins' latest book talking about, longevity. I was just at the Longevity Fest, 5,500 physicians gathering at an annual conference for the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. And it was all about, first of all, how do you keep your body keeping that healthy cell renewal and healthy metabolism so that you're fighting off inflammation. And then it's that understanding of what's going on when it starts to break down. So, with each decade, you're swimming upstream a little bit more to try to keep yourself intact. And I think for a lot of people, the basics still really apply. It's just a lot of folks, they get a little lazy. We all had those New Year resolutions. So they get a little lazy on what the basics are and what they need to do and what we're discovering about, how to live a longer health span, right? Staying healthy as you're aging.
Yeah.
And some of the big ones, first of all, I mean, I know it's like a broken record and people don't want to believe it, but, sleep is pretty important. And for all the things we hear about sleep, a lot of people, I recommend they get an app called Sleep Cycle. You can download it for free. And you put it next to your bed and you find out whether you're a snorer or not. Because if you're living alone, a lot of times you don't know that you're snoring heavy or you're stopping breathing and you have sleep apnea, which I think is a big, big area people don't realize leads to heart disease, diabetes, and dementia. And so just that. So there's that, like apnea. And then there's, I'm too busy to sleep. So I'm cheating that sleep clock 5 hours a night. And, how many bands have you seen come out now, whether it's Fitbit or Garmin or Whoop or Oura Ring, the Apple Watch? All of these things can help us be tools to understand how we're sleeping. Mm-hmm. And I think that's incredibly important because if your brain doesn't go into deep sleep and REM sleep, which are different phases of your sleep enough, your brain doesn't get a rest. And when your brain doesn't get a rest, it starts to move into fight or flight more often, and you lose something really important called autonomic tone. Your nervous system doesn't respond the way it's supposed to. And that is actually the biggest risk factor for risk for heart attacks or heart disease. So it's, to me, like, that's a biggie, and it's simple. Then it gets to, well, are my cells still making energy the way they should? So we hear about the mitochondria, right? The mitochondria, the powerhouse of your cells. And it turns out that when we're aging, and say if we get sick, a lot of times, for example, during the pandemic, they now are figuring out that, kind of a COVID long haul that everybody's, publishing papers on now. A lot of it has to do with the fact that the cells are not making energy the way they're supposed to. And so how do you protect that? Like, how can you really keep that going? One of the most important ways to do that is to, watch diet. I mean, you really do have to, at some point, you got to take personal responsibility for what you put in your mouth.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how else to put it, and you realize everybody gets busy, but there's certain, say, for example, certain drugs like statin medications deplete coenzyme Q10. There's certain medications like blood pressure meds that will deplete magnesium. Well, it turns out you need magnesium and CoQ10 to make those cells make energy. And when people get low in magnesium and they get low in CoQ10, what do they complain about? My muscles are sore. My muscles are aching. Why can't I get the power out of my workouts anymore? So there's key nutrients. And then probably one of the biggest pieces to this is, are your habits and maybe what you've been exposed to in the environment and that stress and sleep issue, are they not allowing your body to turn off the inflammation process that they trigger? And this whole longevity piece is about managing metabolic inflammation, which is called metaflammation, which leads to inflammaging. And those are not my terms. Those are terms that if you look in medical journals, that's what is driving people towards heart disease, diabetes, kidney disease, autoimmune disorders, neurodegenerative disorders, is that our lifestyle and what we do over our life is either protecting us from that inflammatory process or it's driving it. And when it drives it, your cells get damaged.
Mm-hmm. Again, Dr. Jim LaValle is the author of Cracking the Metabolic Code. He's our guest on the phone here for today. So, Dr. Jim, when it comes to, longevity and particularly living longer, I venture a guess, like as a young person, young people out there may be hearing this, think, I'm going to start now and that's going to, pay dividends down the road. What about the older person that may be listening to this and think, well, I haven't lived that lifestyle, but I want to start now? Give us your encouragement there.
Well, I mean, it's never too late to start. Like, I have worked on so many people over the years. And I've, start with people at the age of 80. And they go, my God, I feel like I'm 60 again, right? So, I think that if you're committed, and once again, you just have to decide, well, what's the outcome that I expect in my life when I go down that journey? And when you're young, you're immortal, right? You think about when you're 20, you're thinking, hey, I got all kinds of time here. But, as I know, 20 becomes 60 really quick. And so when you can get committed, not to being perfect, you don't have to live on wheatgrass and wear Birkenstocks, and you don't have to do everything perfect, right?
Uh-huh.
But trying to get what is, like, what I try to get people to do is, what's important to me. Why do I want to be healthy? Do I want to be healthy because I want to play with my grandkids? I want to be healthy because I love playing golf? Is it because I'm avid at training, or I'm just interested in longevity? I want to get the most out of life. I want to be mobile. I want to have good cognition. I think the encouragement comes from empowering people to take the main step, because I don't care what doctor you go to. I don't care what holistic provider you go to or whoever. Unless you decide you're going to make that change, then it becomes hard to stay committed. It's the old New Year's resolutions where gyms are full the first 6 weeks of the year, and then all of a sudden they empty out, right? Because people kind of go, all right, this is kind of hard. And I think a lot of times people get overcommitted. They try to do too much. So, pick things that you can do and build on it. There's some people that are what I call Spartans. They'll do everything. I'm kind of one of those people. You want me to, do 10 things, I'll ask you, where's the extra 2? Right? But most people are, need gradual change, and they need to move towards, lifestyle changes. And look, I was just down at a really cool, they're building a whole health community that's all digitized online in Lake Nona, Florida.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, the whole population of people living there are engaged in kind of community wellness tracking, testing people to stay well. So it's interesting that there's actually communities that are starting to bubble up that have this interest that say, it's a lifestyle that's going to promote my health. It's not just, some magic pill. We all want the Tibetan goji berries that were, blessed by a monk that you eat one and, you turn 20 years younger, right? I just haven't found them yet. Yeah, I just haven't found it.
Yeah.
I keep looking. Because I'd love that if I could find that. It wouldn't have to work.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing, is to tell people all the time, it's work, but it's worth it. If you made a New Year's resolution and you're having trouble sticking to it, instead of just caving in on the resolution and go, oh, God, I failed, I'd suggest remodeling the resolution. I try to say, okay, I couldn't do that. But instead of saying I'm going to go to the gym every day and I'm going to wake up in the morning and drink a protein drink, I'm only going to eat lettuce and cabbage soup 5 days a week because I got to get this weight off. Try to modify it so that you can actually become successful. Hey, I'm going to go to the gym 2 days a week because I haven't been going at all. And then go to a third. A lot of times people end up finding themselves, once they start to feel better. I know from in my practice the last almost 40 years, what I find is that health gets contagious. When people actually start feeling good, they forget what it's, that, oh, wow, this is what it's supposed to feel like. I've got energy. I'm thinking clearly. I can take my garbage down to the end of my driveway without putting it in the trunk of the car. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, and if you may, Jim, you brought up, living well is contagious, and you also spoke to community, the community in Florida. But I think having a community of people that may be on a journey, as maybe not the same journey, but a similar journey with you, speak to the importance of maybe community and how that, get a couple of friends together, go for a walk in the afternoon, or whatever the case may be. Speak to the importance of maybe having a community around you as you make this, embark on this journey.
Well, I mean, it is. I think it's critical. I think, humans are social beings. We're meant to live in communities, right? Or clans, right? In the old days. And, it lifts each other up, when you're struggling and having a hard day, and then you realize that other people also experience similar things to you and they got through it, or just a kind word or a, hey, you can do it. Come on, we're going to hit this goal together. Encouragement is a big deal. I mean, I think that's why I think the value of even group classes is you get started with doing exercise so that you're around other people that are, have, similar goals. It's really important. And the other thing is, give yourself a break if you have a bad day, and don't worry about it if every once in a while you fell off the wagon. Oh my gosh, I'm at this awesome restaurant. They got this incredible dessert. I'm gonna at least split one with the other person next to me and have a couple bites, and I'm not gonna kill myself over it, right? Because I think that's a little bit what goes on in our culture, is that we kind of have this 100-mile-an-hour or not approach.
Oh yeah,
sure.
sure.
What you're really trying to do, what you're trying to do is go, what am I going to do 95% of the time? And sure, I'm gonna have fun, and I'm gonna still enjoy going to a ball game and grabbing a hot dog or something, right? Not feel like I'm totally guilting myself out. And oh my God, instead of eating on an 18-6 fast, I only did 17-7 today. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Not taking it to that extreme, but at the same time, you've got to start making consistent choices. Because remember, every choice you make impacts every cell in your body. The way your body makes energy is you're supposed to carry in glucose into your cell and make 38 packets of energy. But when you get into that metabolic inflammation state, what happens is you can't make energy that efficient anymore. So your body turns on like an emergency system. And that's called GLUT1 transport. And that emergency system only makes 2 packets of energy. So instead of 38 packets of energy when the glucose comes in, you make 2 packets of energy and a bunch of waste product. You make a bunch of lactic acid, and therefore your muscles ache more, and you're kind of tired, and you find yourself needing to have some sugar or carbs to pull you back into, being alert. And that's because you're a gas-sucking SUV metabolically instead of, an efficient, fuel-efficient, vehicle. Right?
Yeah.
Your cells actually behave that way.
Well, Jim, I don't mean to do this to you. I got to take us to a break here real fast. We'll come back and talk some more. Dr. Jim LaValle is author of Cracking the Metabolic Code. He's our guest on the phone here for this morning. More to come with him on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.org.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn slightly higher, beans lower, wheat trading higher. March corn 685.5 up 1/4. May corn up 3/4, 683.5. July corn 672 3/4 up 1/4. March beans 1534 down 5 3/4. May beans down 4 3/4, 1532 3/4. July beans 1529 1/4 down 4 1/4. March Chicago wheat 754 3/4 up 3. May wheat up 3 3/4. 762 3/4. March bean meal 478.60 down 260. March bean oil up 74 cents 64.58. Livestock market, January feeders up 1/4 179.90. February live cattle 157.32 up 32 cents. February lean hogs 77.72 down 72 cents. Energy market, February crude oil 81.97 up $1.79. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Flu season is back, and our Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic inside our family medicine clinic is ready. CEO Paul Skowron here. Our walk-in clinic is here to treat those flu symptoms. No appointment? No problem. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
When it comes to fire and water restoration, ServPro of Piatt DeWitt counties is the leader in cleaning, restoration, and construction. Find out all the services they provide by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dr. Jim LaValle, author of Cracking the Metabolic Code, our guest on the phone here for today. Dr. Jim, we are in the midst of the cold and flu season, and one thing that really can help us in preventing some of those things is obviously exercise, good diet. Throw some maybe supplements our way that perhaps we can add to, maybe the vitamin C's, the vitamin D, the elderberry, maybe those types of things that'll enhance that nutrition and wellness piece we're adding to our lifestyles.
Yeah, well, I mean, vitamin C and D and zinc are just things that your body should be getting, and you can actually measure those in your blood test. I mean, my new rewrite on my Your Blood Never Lies book is coming out, where it's how to read a blood test for health. So, C, D, zinc, really important. I would stay on a probiotic, especially during cold and flu season, because it turns out that the microbiome, or the good flora in your gut, actually have a big impact on your immunity. And then if you're doing a couple things preventatively, I love aged garlic extract, known as Kyolic, or Moducare, which is like a plant food for the immune system. Those are more on the preventative side. And then if you get a cold or flu bug, one of the best, I actually wrote a book called Green Immunity Boosters. One of the best things you can give is Andrographis, Andrographis. It worked better than Tamiflu in head-to-head studies, which is the drug everybody takes,
Wow.
when they get flu. So,
and probably a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. Yeah, 500 milligrams, 4 times a day. I get on some quercetin. If you're getting like congestion in your lungs, like, hey, I'm coughing something up, my lungs feel tight, my sinuses are kind of congested, you can get English IV cough syrup, and you can get that at CVS. And, you don't have to go to the health food store. I mean, you can, because there's great, cough syrups there. But even if all you've got is a CVS up the road, they have English IV cough syrup, which turns out thins the mucus, makes you not go into bronchospasm, so you're not coughing your whole head off as much. It was really pretty effective, and plus kids can use it. That's what's really great, because there's not a lot of options for kids. So Antigraphis, great for the virus fighting. And there's others. Olive leaf extract is really good, and the old standbys, echinacea, those kind of things. But the baselines you got to make sure you're doing is C, D, zinc. Think about prevention. Aged garlic extract, because it helps your blood vessels and reduces that metabolic inflammation I was talking about. And it stimulates your gamma delta T killer cells, which are your fighting T killer cells. And that Moducare, which is awesome because it's a plant sterile. It feeds your white blood cells and gets them ready for the good fight.
Easy enough. A lot of good stuff there, Jim, for sure. You mentioned the Blood Never Lies, your book there. Where can folks find all the things you've written, Jim? I know you've written many books over the years. How do they follow along with what you've written and just the latest in what you're looking at and studying these days?
JimLaValle.com, and interestingly, I've got a rewrite on cracking the metabolic code coming through. I've got your Blood Never Lies coming through, and I've got a book on optimizing your human performance. So if you're somebody that trains a lot, like what are the nutrients, what are the labs, how do you really get the most out of your workout? So I've got a big year this year with books that I've been working on that are going to be getting released.
Jim, I'm not trying to be a smart mouth, but you talk about the importance of sleep. When do you find time to sleep, my good man?
I sleep. I definitely sleep. I get my sleep in.
Oh, my
Pretty
goodness.
busy when I'm awake.
Evidently.
Pretty busy when I'm awake, but I do get my sleep.
Evidently. Goodness gracious. Well, Dr. Jim, we appreciate you making time for us in the midst of all the busyness in your life, and we appreciate your wisdom and sharing your knowledge with us. We'll let you get to it and visit with you again soon.
All right. Have a great day.
You do the same. Again, that's Dr. Jim LaValle. He's author of Cracking the Metabolic Code, our guest on the phone here for this morning. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.